I had a crazy experience buying a car on Craigslist.
Let's talk about that.
I'm Dan from Bristol, UK. Good mythical morning.
Good mythical morning.
Today's episode is brought to you by Smule, maker of the karaoke app Sing.
Thank you to everyone who contributed to covering our song, the Facebook song, within the app. And now it is time to announce the winner. But hold on, before we announce the winner, I'll go ahead and announce the next contest, available now on Sing. It's a free app. You can karaoke-ize our song.
Perfect bathroom trip.
We live in a world full of dirty
Perfect
things.
bathroom trip. That's going to be fun.
So sing that. You have a chance to win, just like the winner of the previous one just did. Now we're going to announce him or her. Yes, it is a him. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Mr. Nick Gonzalez for covering the Facebook song. You did an amazing job, Nick. We're going to play your song, your cover version, at the end of this episode.
Now, we established on previous episode where we talked about going camping that we had purchased a 1992 Ford Bronco. And I didn't tell you exactly how it went down and how this purchase took place.
But even more important, I think there's lots to be learned from his experience moving from Craigslist to real life.
As in what not to do when you need to buy a car.
So just here, there's the floor. You take it. Tell the people what happened, right?
Okay, so first of all, found this car, knew that it was the perfect company car. A 20-year-old Ford Bronco was the perfect company car for Rhett and Link Incorporated, and that we could take this thing camping, really was what I was really excited about.
Yep.
So I see the ad, and I make the phone call, and the guy's like, yeah, you can come see it anytime. You can come see it. In fact, you should come in the morning because I got guys showing up in the afternoon tomorrow afternoon. You need to come in the morning and check this thing out. So we go up. It's just a few miles away from here. It wasn't too much of a trek. And we show up, and there it is, parked right in front of the house. I'm like, this is the house. There it is, big Ford Bronco. So anyway, we buzz ourselves in. And he has this like little buzzer door, and he comes out there. He says, there it is. Let's take a look at it. And of course, this is when I begin to feel inadequate because I'm like, well, what do I do? So I was like, well, let's pop the hood. What am I going to look at? He opens the hood. I'm like, well, there's an engine in there.
I don't think you actually said that.
I thought, well, there's an engine. It's not, he's not selling me an engineless car. Check.
Right. But the thing to do is never say that. It's keep quiet. If what you're thinking is there's an engine in there, you should just not say anything. And just like, look, just kind of bring your eyebrows down. I was watching you. You did the right thing. So you kind of brought your eyebrows down and you just kind of nodded your head like, this is meeting my expectations. You should have crawled under the hood.
Well, I didn't know what to do.
Or the whole car.
And he said, listen, I had a mechanic do a bunch of work on this because on the Craigslist ad, it said new this, new that, new this, new that, new all this new stuff. He said, we're going to go down to the mechanic who did all this work and we could talk to him. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll drive it. So I get in there, and of course, I'm test driving the vehicle now.
I'm in the back seat.
And I'm like, what? I mean, what do I do? Turn it real fast? What do you do? Take a turn real fast? I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, it rides pretty good. We haven't wrecked yet. We make it to the mechanic.
Which was 2 blocks away, by the way.
Yeah, 2 blocks. The mechanic comes out, and I'm like, well, he says you did all this stuff. He's like, yeah, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that, we did this, and we did that. And I'm like, okay.
Replace the transmission.
A lot of stuff. Several $1,000s worth of work. It's a long story for some insurance policy paid for that somebody did something to the truck. Anyway, so, I mean, I think I'm getting a truck that's got all this new stuff, I'm like, well, this is good. I don't know if it looks new. It's an old car. So anyway, I'm like, well, let's take it on a little test drive. He drives it, and he drove it onto the highway and drove it around because he didn't want,
he didn't want you to drive it.
He was like, I don't want to get on the freeway because if something happens. I'm like, okay, whatever. I still feel like a child buying a car. So when we drive back to his house,
did he put you in a child seat?
No, I'm too big for a child seat.
Okay, but that would have made you.
Well, actually, we drove back. You didn't come with me because you had to get on a phone call. So you stayed at the auto repair place. We come pick you up, and then I'm like, hey, it's good, let's buy it. So then we work out a deal. We come to a price. We paid a very small amount for this vehicle, I will say that. But then we drive back to his house, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I got cash right here. Let's just take care of this right now. So we sit down. He says, all right, I got some paperwork I need to fill out. We got to do a transfer of liability from me to you at the DMV website.
And he goes, and I noticed that he set us down on his deck outside, and then he said, I got to go inside. And it was a series of him going inside, getting like his laptop, and then coming back outside, and then he would look for something on the DMV, and he'd be like, and he'd get frustrated, and he'd go back inside, and he'd come back out, and it just
I didn't know what he was doing.
It felt like something. I don't know. I was very paranoid the whole time, like something was going to happen or he was taking advantage of us.
Like
I'm just scared about that. What's he going inside for so many times?
To get stuff.
Get
a pen. This pen doesn't work. Get another pen. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. He gave us some tea. We were drinking tea.
Yeah.
Remember that?
What was in the tea? You know, what's in this
sedative?
tea? You know, something like a roofie that makes you want to buy a car.
So anyway, he comes back and we fill out this paperwork, and then Link has to go.
I'm like, we've been sitting there on this guy's deck, going in and out of the house, looking for stuff.
So Link gets back in the other company car.
I'm out of here.
He drives home. So now I'm stuck here. My only way home is the car that I am now purchasing, this 1992 Ford Bronco. So we go through all this paperwork, we sign the bill of sale and all this stuff, and then he's like, now listen, I don't have the title. I'm like, that would have been an important piece of information to tell me at the beginning of this transaction.
What do you mean? You don't?
And if I had a brain, I would have asked about this on the phone. You know, but I'm a child buying a car, is what you need to understand. I know nothing about the process.
You're a bearded child.
Yeah, I'm a very tall
purchasing
child.
An old truck. And now, for those of you who don't know, a title is the thing that says that you own the truck. I mean, it's the certification that it's yours to sell.
So I say, okay, let me call the DMV. I call the DMV and I say, listen, the guy doesn't have a title. And then she's like, well, just bring the bill of sale and it'll probably be okay. And then he says, trust me, it'll be okay. I drive the Bronco home and we like look at it and we're like, yeah, we got this Bronco. And I'm like, I'm a little nervous because I don't have the title. But she said it would be okay. So I make an appointment with the DMV for the following Monday because in California, there's like a billion people always in line at the DMV. So you have to go and you have to make an appointment in order to even get to talk to anybody. So I go up to the DMV on Monday and I have the stuff. I go and they have this little pre-meeting they do with you where they look at your information and then they give you a number. But the guy who looks at my information is like, let's just call him Mr. Johnson. So did you buy the car from Mr. Johnson? And I'm like, no, I bought the car from so-and-so. He says, well, so-and-so doesn't own the car. Mr. Johnson owns the car. He sold you a car that he doesn't own. And I'm like, this is when my personality, like I don't handle it. I don't even like being late for a flight. Like when things like get out of whack and so I'm like, my head starts spinning. I'm like, oh no, I bought a car. It's not even a car that it can be sold. And so I go and get back in the car and I'm like, I'm driving back to this guy's house. Car won't start. So not only have I bought a car that I can't buy, I bought a car that I can't start. So then I call him, the dude I bought the car from.
And you're pretty upset, right?
I'm upset, but I'm still really accommodating. A lot of people don't know about this about me, but because I'm from the South, it's like I don't like conflicts. I'm like, hey man, how you doing? We got problems. That was as good as I could come up with to tell him.
Hold nothing back.
And so I'm like,
we've got problems.
I'm coming over to your house. So I go over to his house and I'm like, listen, they said that you have to fill out this thing with the other dude that you bought the car from. You got to get him to fill out this thing that says that you bought the car from him and then I bought the car from you.
This is what you're telling him on the phone because you told me when you show up, the first thing he said.
Well, okay, yeah. The first thing he says when I show up is this, hey, I don't have the money. I already spent it.
What?
I'm like, uh-oh. And then I tell him that, so then I'm like, my head is really spinning. I'm like, I am the victim of a scam. My life is over. And then
I've already spent the money.
And so then I explained to him the thing about you got to get the guy that you bought the car from. And he said, he's dead. That guy is dead.
He killed the dude and stole his car.
I said, he's dead? He said, yeah, I think he's dead. I think he's dead.
What? I think he's dead. He's either dead or he's not.
Right, but
it's either your truck or it's not.
So I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? I'm saying, well, what am I supposed to do? You sold me a car from a dead dude that owns a car. What am I got this Bronco. You've spent the money. What do I do? He says, let's go to the DMV. I'm like, well, you can't. Okay. So we get into a police car that he's trying to sell.
What?
A police car. We get into a police car and drive to the DMV, a different DMV. We go in there. He says, you get in line. We go at like 4:30. There's like a billion people in line. I get in the back of this line. He says, you stay in line. I'm going in. I'm like, what are you going? So I stay in line. And a couple minutes later, I get to the point where I can see into the DMV. And I see him in there running around with these papers and talking to people, cutting in line. I'm like, this dude is wheeler and a dealer. Look at him. He's cut in line. And then he motions.
He was yelling, right?
No. He was sweet talking. He was sweet talking him.
Oh, okay.
Then he motions me over there and he says, hey, she told me to wait right here behind this lady. Like we're skipping hundreds of people, literally. So then we talk to this woman and he says, listen, I sold him this car, this guy I bought the car from, I think he's dead. He's what he told her. I think he's dead. And I'm thinking, this is never going to work. He gets through with his story.
Did she say something about the vehicle being stolen at this point?
He, as he's explaining this, he says, listen, the vehicle's not stolen or anything. I'm like, why did he say that? Okay, whatever. And
He just died.
So then the lady at the DMV says, okay, we just need you, sir, to fill out a statement of fact saying that you bought the car from this guy and now you can't get in touch with him to get the title. And then you sold the car to this man, and then we're good. Pay the fees. They really just they just want you to pay the fees.
Then we're good?
Then we're good. And he actually paid the fees. He puts his debit card out there, he pays the fees, and then I say, so you're telling me that now I own this car and I'm going to get the title in the mail? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what? Am I dreaming right now? So we go back and we get in the police car. It's not a real police car. It just looks like one. It was one. And we're driving along, and I'm just like floored. I can't say anything. I don't know what to think. I still feel like I'm been the victim of something. And a couple of minutes pass, and he leans over and he's like, now, worst case scenario, this is a stolen vehicle. Even then, you're going to be okay. And I'm like, what? What has happened? So I go back, I get in my Bronco that may be stolen from a dead man. I don't know, but I own it now. And I drive back here. We wait a couple of weeks. It's in with the title in the mail.
There it is. There's the title.
We own it.
Hopefully you've learned something here. Wow. I'm still speechless. You know? Here's the thing. If you come up missing or dead in a couple of weeks, I know whose house I'm going to. Because the Bronco's going to be out front for sale. Black spots!
Now, the black spots are supposed to be bad. I just told a really bad story, and now I've got to...
Oh, no. Taser each other. Oh, gosh, I hate this!
It's gonna kick.
Oh! Oh, gosh! 3, 2, 1.
Hey, seriously, don't do it again. I will kill you.